Tap tonight, so we will get started. And I want to start by thanking everyone for coming in on this strangely summer-like day in autumn. We're very happy to have with us tonight Upton Bell and Ron Borges, who are here to talk to us about Present at the Creation, My Life in the NFL, and the Rise of America's Game. This is Upton Bell's memoir of growing up literally alongside the NFL. Bell is the son of NFL's legendary commissioner Bert Bell. Ushering a phoenix from the ashes, Bert Bell saved professional football from financial ruin after World War II. He was a great innovator who, among other things, created the pro football draft and proposed sudden death rules. Upton Bell saw this not only through his eyes as a child, but lived and breathed it from the inside as he grew and himself became an integral part of the game. He joined the Baltimore Colts as a training camp attendant in 1960 and worked his way up to personnel director in 1966. And he, I'm sure, has a story about that to tell us. At least one.
And recovered.
At the age of only 33, he was hired as the general manager of the Boston Patriots, the New England Patriots today, making him the youngest GM in NFL history. In 1976, Upton Bell left pro football to begin a 40-year career as a radio and TV host and commentator. Ron Borges has covered the NFL since 1974. He is the lead sports columnist at the Boston Herald, as well as a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Selection Committee. Borges has been named Massachusetts Sports Writer of the Year by the National Association of Sports Writers and Sports Broadcasters 5 times since 1999. His work has been included in the annual anthology Best Sports Stories 8 times. Dan Shaughnessy from the Boston Globe, the columnist, said, "It didn't start with Joe Namath or Joe Montana. This is the history of professional football in America. If you ever played football, played fantasy football, or just tossed a few bucks in an office pool, this book is for you." Upton Bell lived it, and Ron Borges covered it. So tonight, Upton Bell and Ron Borges will tell us a bit about the book, some stories of the fascinating NFL history that is covered in it, and then we'll open it up to questions and conversation before breaking to sign books. Please help me welcome Upton Bell and Ron Borges.
You know, it's very ironic. I was just telling Ron, here we are in Concord, the home of Thoreau and Emerson, the great bridge across the way, and all of the fantastic history. America, to me, really started here. So here we stand and sit hundreds of years later. And I was thinking on the way over, in relation to Ron and myself, one of the great moments, which is actually in the book that he wrote and I told him, was a situation of where in 1978, I convinced Bob LaBelle to get Woody Hayes on as hero, figuring Hayes would come on and talk about another ridiculous football season at Ohio State. He overheard me talking at the break about Thoreau and how great he was. And when he came on, he said, "Let me correct you, son. The greatest was Emerson. And the reason is self-reliance, self-determination, making your life up, going your own route in life." And I thought, you know what? That's what I really like. And that's what I really like about him, is that the hard decisions you make, and there are 2 great writers in here tonight that I followed for many years, and Ron has too, and they have done terrific jobs. Sean and Karen are here, and I'd like them to stand up and a round of applause. He's one of the greatest. Great on football. And the reason I say this is, in trying to make a decision, I had no intention of writing memoirs until Ernie Accorsi, the general manager of the Giants that Ron and I knew, he said, you know, you ought to get this all down because you're the last. That's it. Most people are dead. Knock on wood, not ready yet. So I said, who is the person that could do this? Sean, you go to him if you want baseball. You go to caring if you want football. But if you want somebody who will help you step into the past, going back to literally 1937 and the way the NFL was then to today, that had the ability to go back and understand what I was telling him, and then today to see the way the game was, he was the man. He was the key to the whole situation. And I will say this, you get the book, you pass it on to other people, you will see the history of America, the history of the NFL, and there were no holes barred. And the great thing about the conversation was, it wasn't a recording period. He challenged me at every moment. We argued about certain things. We did things the way it should be done. A self-examination of the good and bad things that I did in it, but also the league. So I want to get him to come up here and say whatever he has to say. I've written a speech for him, so he's but I will say this. It is the greatest, and I thought back today coming up here to Emerson. Make up your own mind. Deal your own life for good or bad. And that's what we did in this book. You'll find no excuses from me or him, and the honesty I hope that you will read, you will see. So without further ado, Mr. Boswell himself.
Thanks, Upton. Just one little story that is not in the book, because working with Upton is very interesting, as you can tell. He's a fascinating guy. The life that he's led is the Forrest Gump of football and America.